thought Mr. Perry was going to be here today.
If he is, he's running late.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't find a parking spot
Yeah,
because they don't exist.
I know. Hey, but we decided that once they put the flashy light thing on, it's going to be a walk in the park because we come around and we keep going farther. Pretty sure we're going to go down to 8th Street, come back around, come down because there's either a hole or a truck or a trailer or all of the above.
I'm parked.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners for Shawnee County. My name is Kevin Cook. I am the Vice Chair. We're also representing District 2, filling in for Commissioner Rippon, who is not present today. Joining me today is Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Morning.
And at the far right left, we have Ms. Beck, our County Clerk, and at the far right, we have Jim Crowell, our County Counselor. So, Madam Clerk, let's get started.
Okay. First item on the agenda is item 3, consent agenda.
There's a number of items on the agenda. Are there any questions or is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. So, motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 2-0. Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning we have vouchers that total $2,626,212.33. Some of the highlights out of the voucher report: we have Samco under Building and Maintenance for repairs of a water main break at Department of Corrections for $17,239.31. Under Emergency Management, we have Medevac MedAmerica for $60,000 for a nurse navigation program. This was paid by ARPA SLFRF funds. Under 911 telephone, Midwest Mobile Radio Service for $10,596 for yearly rent at the tower space on a radio tower. Under the Business Office and Parks, we have Civics Plus for $10,718.86, which is the annual renewal for Civics Plus. Under Special Public Works, we have Key Equipment and Supply Company totaling $35,267 for 2 solar-powered message signs. And finally, under the Sheriff, we have Basinger Police Supply for $37,354.69 for a ballistic vest. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers. Would move for their approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Motion passes 2-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Item B, Court Administration number 1, consider and authorize contract C-161-2023 with Dell Technologies for the purchase of 30 computer monitors at a price of $15,014.70 to be funded through the 2023 Court Administration budget. This expense will be submitted to the Office of Judicial Administration for reimbursement as a purchase through ARPA SLFRF funding.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lee Welch, Court Administrator, 3rd Judicial District. As Ms. Beck indicated, this is a request for purchase of 30 computer monitors. The text that I submitted for the budget or for the agenda is actually incorrect. This is not coming out of the court budget, but coming, it's a federal pass-through grant, so it's actually coming through the federal grant job ledger through the county. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So the Office of Judicial Administration is not involved in this, or is it federal grant to OJA to Shawnee County?
Yes. The Office of Judicial Administration received ARPA SLFRF grant money, and the courts individually applied for a portion of that money through the Office of Judicial Administration, and that's what this money is. So it's actually a pass-through from ARPA through OJA to Shawnee County.
Outside of these monitors, are there other items that Shawnee County qualified from Office of Judicial Administration?
Yes, we received $71,770 for a purchase from 2021, which was an upgrade to 17 FTR Gold digital recording systems we have in every courtroom. We also received about a $7,000 grant for upgrading our InFax digital display boards that are on each floor of the courthouse. And then this $30,000 now, I believe on May 4th, the commission approved a purchase of some additional server storage, about $14,000. And then this $15,000 monitor purchase, we just about have spent the $30,000. So
With the courts having their own IT department and workers and employees, what do you wind up doing with the old monitors?
a lot of the old monitors, I hate to say that a lot of our staff are still using the old 17-inch square monitors. Some of them have just simply they're just simply end of life. With a lot of the programs that we're using now, a lot of our workers are finding the benefit of dual monitors. We don't have dual monitors for all of our staff, so this will supply dual monitors for some staff, replace some that have simply aged out. If they're still functional, we'll repurpose them within the courts.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope. I'll move to approve.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C, Parks and Recreation, number 1. Approval is requested for 5 employees to attend the 2023 National Association of County Park and Recreation Officials Annual Meeting. This will be holding they will be holding their 2023 annual meeting in conjunction with the Special Park District Forum in Lake County, Illinois, on June 19th to the 22nd of this year. The department's operating budget will be responsible for all costs associated with this request, estimated not to exceed $3,300 per employee.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. I do want to make one correction. The memo states that we're taking 5. It's actually we're requesting 4. NACPRO is an organization that obviously centers around county parks and recreation departments. I think what we're attending this time, or what we'd like to attend, there's a lot of emphasis this time on natural areas, lakes, ponds, preserves, and I know that's an area that I think we could benefit from. We're unfortunately entering the blue-green algae season, and we're already starting to see some of this, and I think hopefully we can go there, and that won't be the only thing that's covered, but I'm hoping that we can go there and learn some best practices, and not just with blue-green algae, but with dealing with natural areas, ponds, lakes, preserves, that sort of thing.
Tim, I was going to ask what $13,200 pays for, but that kind of answered part of it.
Yeah.
And so do you find this to be very beneficial for your employees and what they're able to implement back in Shawnee County?
I believe so. I've only gone to one NACPRO conference since I've been here, but what distinguishes these, in my mind, from some of the other organizations that we attend is it is very hands-on. You're out in the fields. You're talking about how these projects were created, what type of fund, how the funding was secured, what type of delivery methods they use for construction, just all of these things that I think we deal with on a daily basis. And you're not sitting in a room necessarily talking about it. You're out actually seeing what they've done, how they've done it. So I think it's very beneficial. I think it's one of the more, definitely one of the more hands-on, and I think one that makes a real impact because you're seeing it.
I'm also glad you brought up, or not really glad, but I appreciate you brought up the blue-green algae. I was driving down 6th Street, looked over at the little pond we have in Gage Park, saw a lot of moss growing on it, looked it's kind of scummy, and then the other day when I was dropping off my son over at school and looked over and saw Central Park's pond, and it looks almost like you can walk across it. What are we doing to try to address some of these blue-green algae issues?
We have been working on doing some new things this year. So we've, chemical treatment is always, in my mind, sort of the last. We don't necessarily want to do that, and if we are going to do that, we have to make sure that we know what we're doing. You know, the last thing I want to do is go treat a pond with like sonar, for example, is one of the chemicals that they use. We've just got to make sure that that quite frankly, that we're bringing other people in that know how to do this, the appropriate amount of chemical to add. And I think that's where we are. We're doing that now at Central Park. I don't think that's the answer at someplace like Lake Shawnee because it's just too big. So really at Lake Shawnee, you're kind of at the mercy of nature, you know. And right now, as we're getting warmer temperatures and a lot of rain, that's the perfect recipe for blue-green algae, for example. At least that's what I'm told. We have done some work with, Commissioner Mays and I have talked about the barley straw bales. We actually have put chemical treatment and barley straw in at Central Park, and you're still seeing what you're seeing. So it is a little bit of an uphill battle, in my mind.
Has Central Park been classified as blue-green algae?
No, it has not.
Okay. So at this point, if people want to be able to use Central Park for fishing, it's not been classified as being unsafe at this point?
Absolutely. You can definitely fish, and quite honestly, you can fish during blue-green algae as long as whatever you catch, you clean. We don't want people swimming in blue-green algae. We don't want them, coming into contact with blue-green algae necessarily. But you can actually fish. I personally would not, but you could.
And for the record, Central Park is not a place where you should be
I
swimming.
would be a little nervous, but I'm told it's fine.
And Tim, for the record, Central Park is not where you should be swimming regardless.
Absolutely, no,
All right,
definitely.
just want to make
definitely.
sure.
And another area that we've been watching very closely is the junior pond at Lake Shawnee. And I don't know if you've seen it. It looks, I hate to say this, but it doesn't look very good either. But it's something entirely different. It is, Tom Hammer's going to yell at me here, but it's curly tail weed, I think is the name. Curly tail, you might know. And I understand that this curly tail grows right now, and then as it gets hot, it just dies off. And so we don't really have to do anything about that. It doesn't look very good right now, but as the temperatures stay warm, it'll go away. And as I understand it, the fall would be the time to treat that so it wouldn't come back in the spring. But again, you're putting chemicals in there, and so we've just chosen to go the natural route, but it's something we need to monitor.
Commissioner Mays, you have questions?
Well, I mean, blue-green algae, I know we're totally off topic from the conference.
Well, I hope we learned something about
This is
it.
the agenda item here, and when the time
Yeah.
comes, I'll make that motion, but blue-green algae, a lot of times they say it's caused by fertilizer, types of fertilizers.
True.
So obviously Lake Shawnee is your golf course right next door.
Right.
Do we modify the types of fertilizers we use on that golf course
We-
to affect that?
We have in the past, yes. I think what they use is, I'm not going to say that it doesn't contribute, because I think it probably does to some degree. My understanding, though, is, the waterways that feed into Lake Shawnee is really the issue. There's a lot of farms, there's a
Yeah.
lot of fertilizer being used, and that's carried into the lake. At Lake Shawnee, they have been careful about what type of fertilizer we use. And if you walk around out there, in 95% or more of the case, there's a lot of brush between a fairway or a rough and the lake, and that's by design. That helps catch a lot of that and filter it out before that rainwater gets to the lake itself.
Okay, appreciate that. I'll move approval of the agenda item.
I'll second, and then all in favor say aye. All opposed. Motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. Approved. Tim, come back with some good ideas about how to fight blue-green algae.
We'll do it. Thank you.
All right. Our next item.
Item D, Audit Finance. Number 1, consider approval of the GASB 87 lease materiality threshold for GAAP financial statements.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I would classify this as a housekeeping item for our external audit. We have a new pronouncement this year from GASB, which is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. This pronouncement is number 87. It is on leases. It really changes the way we record leases, the way we look at them, but only for the GAAP financial statements. Now, I want to make it clear that this will not affect our normal financial statements that we use more on a monthly basis. Those are all on governmental accounting basis and budgetary accounting basis, and that will not be affected by this. But for our GAAP statements, we do have to come up with a materiality threshold for these leases. And it's only for the leases, but the pronouncement itself does not really have, it doesn't establish an approach or an amount for this, this threshold. It's management's judgment as to what is reasonable and material for that organization. So what we are recommending is a $25,000 limit on this. That would tie to our purchasing policy for what needs to come to the BCC for approval. We felt like it made sense to have it tied to something rather than just an arbitrary number. As I said, this is just for the GAAP government-wide statements only. So generally, it won't affect any of the other types of statements we have. So I would ask for your approval of that threshold at $25,000.
Betty, in any way, shape, or form, the implementation of GASB 87, does this affect operations for Shawnee County and what we do?
No, it does not.
So this is more just a recording and notation for the accountants?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
I'll move approval.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item D2, financial report for April 30, 2023.
Oh, now I have the financial overview as of April 30th. We will start with the revenues. Through April 30th of 2023, we had received revenues of $67,568,121. That is a positive variance of $1,431,000 over what was budgeted. And this chart just shows the different categories, and we will work our way through those categories. I said that we had a positive variance of 1.4 million. That is 1.12% of what we expect to receive in revenue this year. So even though that's a nice amount, it's right around the 1%, 1% of the total, which is where I would like us to stay, within 1% or close to that. So we were right on target there. Our first category is property tax revenue. This has not changed since last month. We will not have another distribution till June, so it will not change again till June. We've received $57,444,358. That is $863,000 under budget. Next category is other tax revenue. We've received $4,245,765. That is $57,000 under budget, so I would say right on budget on there. Charges for services of $1,921,709. That is $272,000 under budget. That is mostly in two categories, which is register of deeds for their filings and then Parks and Rec registrations. And our last revenue category, other revenue, we received $3,956,289. That is $2,425,000 over what we had budgeted, and as we've seen all year long, that is from investment income. As you know, we have to budget out so early that the interest rates have changed significantly since that time in a positive way. So our pie chart shows us that 85% of our revenue is from property taxes. Other taxes are 6%, charges for services are 3%, and other revenue of 6%. Now we'll go on to the expenditure side. Through April 30th, we've had expenditures of $41,897,421, and that is $1,593,000 under budget, so that is a positive variance. This chart just shows the different categories that we will go into. Our first category is law enforcement expenditures of $20,312,045. That is $73,000 over budget, but this is so early in the year, I would say that is right on budget for that category. Recreation, we spent $6,965,631. That is $732,000 under budget in that category. And this, I think, is mostly a timing issue. You know, when people, when they're doing certain expenditures throughout the year. So, you know, this is still just through April, so I don't expect that to remain, but that's where it is at this point in time. Public Works, $4,257,961. That is right on budget. Public Health, $2,917,420. That is $677,000 under budget, and that mostly is just timing issues. When we have all of our health allocations that we make each year, we do not send that next quarter's allocation out until we have received their accounting reports that are required to give to us. So some of these have just not been allocated for that next quarter because we're waiting for those reports. The next is administrative services, $6,546,140. That is $237,000 under budget, and most of that is just contingency that we have not had to use at the same pace as it was budgeted. And the last is debt service, $898,224, and that is right on budget also. This chart just shows the different categories, and our pie chart shows that law enforcement is 48% of our total expenditures, recreation 17%, public works 10%, public health 7%, administrative services 16%, and debt service 2%. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions?
Not that I can think of right now.
Betty, can we go back to slide number 4?
Sure. And 4 was?
Your pie chart on income.
Okay. Thank you.
So this slide, that is just the year to date. That is
Yes.
not a complete picture of what
No.
a year would look
No,
like.
this is just as of April 30.
Okay.
Yes.
If we were to look at a full year of the revenue, what would our property tax make up?
It would be certainly less than this. It is generally somewhere between 75 to 78%.
So as far as county operations, we are very dependent upon that as our source of revenue.
Absolutely, because that is our primary source, as you can see. We do not use sales tax for operations, which cities do, and our sales tax only goes into JADO-approved expenditures, so it's not for our operations. We may have, you know, a road project on there, but because of that, I know cities throughout the state, you know, sales taxes is a big part of their operational revenue. We do not have that. So property taxes is our primary source of revenue.
And so charges for service, 3%, that would be everything from playing golf out at Lake Shawnee, or what is that going to make up?
That would be most of Parks and Rec's registrations, you know, that type of thing. Now, the The 2 golf courses, Cypress Ridge and Lake Shawnee's golf courses, those are in a separate fund, so that does not go into this. They are, go into a separate fund, so they are self-sustaining. That does not go into the general fund for normal operations. But that would include any of their registrations and their fees, that type of thing. It also would include the fees that we charge at the jail for other taxing authorities that use our jail. They, pay us a fee for that. The sheriff's office, that they have fees that they charge. Let's see, the Register of Deeds, they charge a fee when you file a mortgage. Those are examples.
So are there limitations on counties what they can do for revenue, such as getting into leasing buildings, buying and leasing buildings out to other people, income properties and things of that nature?
Well, we have to be careful because we are an exempt organization, and Jim may have to step in and help me with this, but we are not, generally, we are not buying something for an investment property that we would turn around and lease out to someone to make money on.
So generally speaking, our fees are going to be coming from property tax primarily, and then there might be some other less than 15 to 20% that comes from other things. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Betty.
Okay.
Our next item.
Item 5, public comment.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address the commission today? All right, our next.
Item 6, administrative communications.
Are there any department heads that wish to address the commission today? Treasurer Ma.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Ma, Shawnee County Treasurer. My office performs over 200,000 motor vehicle transactions a year. We perform those transactions as an agent of the state of Kansas, and so we collect fees and pay the expenses for doing that function that are established by the state legislature. Those fees have been constant, unchanged since July of 2013. In July of 2013, we raised the facilities fee from $2 to $3, and that was for transactions performed in office. We have not changed that fee since then, or any of the fees. Since that time, our expenses have gone up, in particular over the last couple of years when we've been dealing with inflation, and so our expenses are starting to outrun our revenues. So consequently, I am proposing to increase the facility fee for renewals in-house from $3 to $5 effective June the 1st. Now, just to give you a little information, we do about 140,000 renewals a year. 60% of the folks do their renewals online or by mail. They are not affected. They are not charged any fee at all for that. This $5 fee only applies, excuse me, to in-house folks who walk into the office and do the renewal in-house. So they do have an opportunity, if they do not want to pay the $5 fee, to do it by mail or online and totally eliminate that fee. But
Now, is that $5 fee per transaction or per visit?
per vehicle. So if you come in and you have 2 vehicles, you'll be charged $5 per vehicle.
So your encouragement is, if able or feasible, renew your vehicle online?
Yes. I know we could get into a huge discussion, but in reality, that is the least expensive and most efficient way to do that function.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We will have a news release later today. Okay.
Very good. Any other administrative communications? Okay. Commissioner Mays, anything?
Congratulations to all the graduates. We've had a lot of the graduations last weekend. I think there might be.
There's some more this weekend?
There's some more this weekend, so, Stormont Vale Event Center ought to be busy, and then there's a Tropics game also, so, Saturday night, I believe, is the last Tropics game, so if you if you're looking for something to do this weekend, it should be a fun time. Hopefully they get a win.
I agree. Also, with the parks coming along and summer's not quite here yet, it hasn't gotten hot, please go out and enjoy our parks, recreation, our trails, and go out and just get some fresh air. So, Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 7, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session today. This will be a motion for consultation with the attorney for the body, public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, specifically to discuss pending litigation. This would be for 20 minutes. Action is possible after the executive session, and that is a motion made.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. We'll start the executive session at 9:35.
Just as a matter of public pronouncement, Commissioner Rippon might participate in that executive session
By telephone.
by telephone if he answers.
Okay. So noted. All right. So we are in recess. Ready? We have returned from executive session. There will be action taken based upon statements made in the public and to media. Shawnee County will be releasing a formal response today regarding Heartland Park in Shawnee County. This will be posted on the Shawnee County website and released to the public online, as well as a statement released to the media. And that is a motion made.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? That is approved 2-0, and no further action is taken. And we are adjourned.